coming from somewhere that isn't a vent? Or notice that the hallway seems just a few inches longer than it was at noon? You humans are so obsessed with globes and maps, but you never stop to look at the seams of your own house. Welcome back to the Brothers of the Unknown. Tonight, we're digging into the shapes of things. Is the world actually what they told you in the textbooks? Or is the ground beneath your feet just a very thin layer of dust covering something else entirely? I've spent a lot of time in the gaps between the walls, and let me tell you, reality has a lot more duct tape holding it together than you'd like to think. Your hosts for this journey to the edge are Mr. B and Mr. K. One of them is currently trying to find the horizon with a flashlight, and the other is convinced the moon is just a very large projection. Gentlemen, try not to wander off the map. I'm not sure the GPS works where you're going.
Well, thank you, Boogie. I hope to God we can find our way back.
I mean, I hope so. We tend to get lost in conversation a lot, so...
Yeah, it's not always on a linear path. It's usually taking left turns and right turns.
Ups and downs. We might as well be on the Wonkavator.
Oh, that's funny. So today, Boogie had really not the greatest way of alluding to really anything that necessarily what we're going to talk about. We might touch base on a couple of things of those, but
I don't know. I didn't put my tinfoil hat on today, as you can tell. So, but we can do our best.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be one of these things where it's purely theory.
Or is it?
So, I guess today's topic is simulation theory. Do you know what that is?
Okay. Is that kind of like the Matrix idea? Is that, like we live in a simulation or that sort of thing?
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
That's spot on that. So the whole purpose of the simulation theory is essentially, if we can make video games, let's just say, right, that simulates civilizations from long ago, right? And we're able to go and make these things seem almost as real as they can, right? Who's to say that I don't know, I don't want to necessarily put a deity to it, but like a creator of some sort, let's just say.
Okay.
Whether or not it's divine or not, has the ability to make a simulation that would be able to handle us as a simulation, the whole world and its scale and so on and so forth.
So like aliens or even gods, and we basically live in a terrarium kind of thing?
In a sense, yeah. I mean, have you ever played the video game The Sims or any of the Sims spinoffs? All right. Very much in that sense of how our day-to-day living could necessarily be driven in much like The Sims, how they kind of live their lives, from birth to dying of old age or whatever the case may be, and everything in between. Essentially is their theory is that we are in a simulation, and everything that you think that is real and everything that you think that you can touch and the emotions you feel and everything like that is all more of a computer simulation, that we don't have these things.
Our physical reality isn't a physical reality to the things outside dealing with us or whatever.
Right. Pretty much, yeah, just that. I mean, like, we're
all in a pod like the Matrix, and we're in the slime with our tubes and hookups, and, you know, we're all just laying next to each other in a complex of, you know.
Or, hear me out, we're on a cosmic disc in a really hyped up computer.
Yeah. It's not flat Earth. We're built on a CD.
Right. Man, that autofocus is really a hard time today.
Yeah, it's struggling a little bit, I can tell. It's trying to focus on your reality right now.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's essentially what simulation theory is. And, you know, in a way, I mean, it would explain a lot of different things and put like a bow on a lot of things, actually. Like, how did we end up here? You know, is
Right.
this essentially taking a way of not necessarily having to believe in a deity or an individual who created us, and instead putting it more into the terms of technology? You know,
Right.
someone
Right.
made all of this on a computer, and we just so happen is just living out the simulation.
Well,
You know.
maybe it's not a computer. Maybe it is more physical, but it's kind of like I said, maybe it's a terrarium or like a zoo or something. In hindsight, I guess, you know, not saying the Earth is a zoo, but
I mean,
with
some places
that,
are.
like that theory being said, maybe there's like a galactic overruling, and Earth and its population hasn't gotten to that point where they welcome them into the Confederation, we'll call it, you know. And our technology isn't advanced enough. We still deal with things in a ununified way. You know, we have a lot of problems that we humans haven't hashed out or whatever. So maybe we just don't fit in with their culture yet.
Or we're too crazy and they don't want to unleash us all on the rest of the universe.
That's what I'm saying. You know, talking about our Fae episode that we just recently did, you know, humans may or may not have killed off other species on the planet and overtaken it, and aliens or the overlords or Galactic Confederation are like, we need to keep the humans in a bottle because we put them on a planet with a bunch of other things, and they took over and wiped everything out that didn't matter to them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. No, that'd be an interesting way of thinking of you know, something greater than us in that aspect. I guess it comes to more of a philosophical. Oh man,
Yeah, I can't say the word either. Philosophical.
Yeah,
hey, look, I said
yeah, there you go.
Esophagus. All right, back on target.
All right. It's more of a that sense of thinking to find, you know, a way of explaining the unknown in a way that could neatly be put into a box, figuratively.
Well, I have my things about putting things into boxes. Is it Euclid class?
I don't know. I think it might be Keter if we're in a box.
It might be. Maybe we're the Keter things and we're in the box.
Oh no, maybe. No,
Oh no.
no. No, personally, I don't think like I see where you're coming from in the sense of us in tubs of goo and whatnot. You know, the whole imagery of the Matrix and all. Fantastic movie franchise, to be precise. Love it. It kind of hits on a lot of things that I could see actually being the case, but I think it's more probably if we were in a simulation that it was we don't exist at all. We're just ones and zeros, and that's that. In an attempt to kind of like how we do with weather, where we have simulations of what the weather's going to do, and like how a storm's going to go across, you know, a certain area, right? And there's so many different simulation models that run through, and majority of them are going to be wrong, and then there's going to be a few that turn out relatively right. And I think if we are in a simulation that we are one of many, and we just so happen to make it this far.
I don't know. You kind of brought something to mind, like the whole simulation. What if it's not what we think a kind of simulation it is? Like maybe it's a willing simulation, like the whole Rick and Morty episode where they go to the arcade and they plug in a VR game or whatever, and they play as this human, and they try to get him through life and be successful, and Morty makes it so far with a normal life, and Rick totally goes bonkers and off the wall, and he's like, holy crap, he made his person go off grid and blah blah blah, did everything different from birth. And maybe we're all like fourth dimensional or even fifth dimensional beings and entities, and this is just a video game for them, and when our life's over, we're just gonna be like, do game over, and you know, next thing you know, we're taking a headset off and going to the next arcade game. Like, you know, living out our life is 10 minutes for them, you know what I mean?
Right. Essentially, time dilation, where
we're
perceiving
that kind of simulation. You know, we're all pawns, and you know, when you play GTA and you play as the main character and you go steal someone's car, like that kind of thing. You know, you can live your life this way, or you can go woohoo, but you don't know that you're plugged in. Like your character is totally unaware of it being controlled by a higher entity. Right.
No, I mean that's essentially the way that I would be looking at it too. That we don't exist.
Did I just blow your mind?
Well, it kind of points in the same direction that I was mentioning in. Yeah, that we don't exist, and that, you know, maybe something. I mean, maybe not necessarily to the extent of someone or a group of someone's made our simulation. You know, you're more bringing on the whole aspect of what if we're avatars?
Right. That's a good word of putting it.
Yeah. We're just avatars within a game, and our person that decided to play this particular game
or play it this way. Maybe it's just like a open world, free range, and we're in just one big chat room called Earth.
Yeah, it just so happens to be that some of us get really crappy jobs and some get really good jobs. I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody wants to go the fun route and have the easy life at the beginning and the hard life at the end, or they grind and they choose the hard path. They take the hero role and they become big, and I don't know. So it's hard. It's hard to say.
I think they should put a cheat code in for me, because I could definitely use some more money.
Maybe that's where the glitches come from, deja vu, and it's just the computer lagging, and you're like, didn't we just see that again? And to them, it was just like the re-rendering. They had to turn it off, turn it back on, restart it, and you're just like, wait, did I just witness a glitch?
Yeah, the whole what was that whole theory? 2 a.m. Tuesday morning theory or glitch, that's what it was, where there was a whole group of people that believe that every Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. or maybe it's 3 a.m. I don't know, somewhere in that area.
It sounds about right.
Right. That their region of the world resets, and then it's just a rolling, kind of going by time zones. I mean, that would be kind of interesting, if that is the case, to see if there's anything that happens, and if that is the case, if we are up at that time and nothing happens that we can perceive, is it happening when we go to refresh, i.e., go to sleep or take a nap, where it kind of, there you go. Now you're updated.
Kind of makes me think of like the whole, ships at night or at dusk when the sun sets, and people say that they can see a green flash or a hue that comes off of the setting sun off the ocean or something like that. Like the sun going down is the reset, and you kind of catch a glimpse of the Matrix or something.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to that with like the shipwrights' tales and things that they seen, back in the day when they didn't have lighting and that sort of stuff, so they could pick up some finite stuff easier.
Right. Your eyes are adjusting to a lower, I guess, ambient light.
Right.
And now the things, you see things that you miss. Kind of like how, when you're in the city and you look up in the sky and you can't really see any stars whatsoever because of light pollution, kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like you're watching a TV in a well-lit white room and the glare's so bad you can't really see it. So
right.
Are the stars really real? Is the moon a projection?
Now,
or is it just made out of cheese?
So, I mean, obviously, this is definitely nothing new. People have been thinking and theorizing about this probably for a good 20 years now. I mean, it feels like pretty much ever since the whole Matrix thing, it kind of really...
I do have a couple other theories I'd like to get to, but finish your thought.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, though, I mean, like, obviously, I think it was Elon Musk that came out with that there's a more of a chance of it not being a simulation than it is to being a simulation. Or no, the other way around. There's more of a chance of it being a simulation than not being a simulation, because either we are one of infinite amounts of simulations, or we're the original one.
I don't know. That's some Inception kind of stuff right there. Even talking about like AI and robotics and stuff like that. Are we the creators, or is it another Rick and Morty episode of Inception where this Rick in this universe created a micro universe, and then he found a way to go visit that micro universe and to a planet that was powering his car, and then they were devising a micro universe to power their world, and Rick's not getting enough energy from his because he's getting an energy from energy, and it's not giving him any energy anymore. So
right, kind of going down the rabbit hole, layer after layer after layer to find out what the issue is.
It's like what created us? We created Minecraft, and Minecraft's universe is huge. So
right,
and where does it start? Where does it stop? Where does it end? Is this the string theory? Is this the many world scenarios, the dimensions we live next to? We actually created it and we didn't realize it, or is it something else?
Or maybe it's more of a everything's happening at once, situation where
Right.
like you have the person that or you have the root reality, right? The actual real reality, and they're going and they're running multiple simulations all at once.
Right.
And this is how, maybe not to harken back on too many of the old episodes, but like ghost mechanics, where we're all running on the same computer, let's just say, figuratively, because obviously we don't know if that is,
we're all on a server.
Yeah, we're all on a server somewhere, right? And in like the ghosts from ghost mechanics, they're bleeding through, but in all actuality, it's just another simulation that's happening that's really close, and it's just kind of bleeding
glitchy in the walls, or the veil gets a little thin, and
yeah, it's
like,
Tuesday.
Oh crap, that game saw through this game, and or maybe the shadow thing you've seen lurking in the corners are like the Mr. Smith of the Matrix. They're always there. They're monitoring the game. They're the firewalls. They're the antivirus. They're the things making sure that it seems normal for whoever is doing it.
Right.
And you just happen to catch them, or that glitch and that deja vu I'm talking about is like when they hit a pause and reset the server, and it's just like and you're just like, Mandela effects. That brings a lot more sense to Mandela effects. Things can just be taken out of the code and changed, and you're like, but I was there. It was different.
Yeah, right.
And it's just like, but now it doesn't exist, and everybody remembered it wrong. They changed the code, and they didn't pay enough attention to detail, and people are like, that's not right, but I don't have anything to prove on it.
Or they did it right, but just little fragments here and there, and everybody's logic is still there. True. And they just didn't get it all out.
Right.
And that'd make perfect sense. I mean, I'm just saying, there's a lot of theories out there that could just tie it all in a nice big bow and put it in a box, and we could just be like, yep, that's exactly what it is, and it fits all right here.
Right.
But like the whole aspect of us seeing more of a paranormal realm when it comes to the simulation theory, that like the 3 a.m. Tuesday morning kind of situation, maybe like not saying that Tuesday at 3 a.m. the world resets, but let's just say if that is the case, is the supernatural more inept to happen at that 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, because the servers or the computer or the system memory or whatever is at its capacity, and now things are starting to bleed through, and we're having these situations. Not to say Tuesday is the universal day for server resets.
Humans were the ones that defined time and how that all works according to the sun going across the earth or whatever, day and night and stuff. But once every 7 days, or it seems a little finite. Maybe that is a system check. Maybe it's something the system reboots and rechecks, and it just so happens to feel like it's happening every 7 days at a certain time, but it's like every 5 minutes for the actual thing, timey-wimey stuff. But well, without getting too far down this rabbit hole, the whole simulation thing or whatever, I did have a different kind of theory.
Yeah.
What if like we're the moon? Like there's the theory that the moon is hollow and might be a space station that brought humanity to this rock, or the whole theory of Earth being hollow and living amongst other things that find their way out of their space that they're supposed to be in, or we find our way out of our space that we're supposed to be locked in. And, you know, there's where chupacabras come up, vampires and your mystic things, you know, maybe they have another section of the world that they're confined to, and they find a way out and into ours, and now we got our stories and theories.
Maybe. So, like, are you like referring to as in like the supernatural, the cryptids, and so on and so forth is more along the lines of in another world that just so happens to come over, and that's how we're
like
one
they
point in time
live amongst us, or they live in a different layer, you know, maybe they're dwelling inside the planet, and there's a whole terrarium thing, like they have a sky, kind of like King Kong when they went to the upside down, or that sort of thing,
right?
You know,
right. Okay, yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And you know, there's this whole other civilization. You know, your elves and fairies and your fae, or monsters or what have you, and there's some way, shape, or form that things get through it, and they have crossovers, and now the head honchos of the whole operation are like, crap, we need to fix that didn't happen, you didn't see this, now you're like, why is my memory weird, I feel like that was a dream that was too real, that deja vu, that reset that needed to happen. You know, they even mention it in the Matrix, I believe. You know, it's like, oh, you hear about werewolves and vampires, but those were just glitches and bugs in the mainframe that went haywire, and then the agents eventually found them and cleaned them up. Having like a secret government organization, but doesn't operate as a government for the people, it operates as a systems check. So people do whatever they want, but if a vampire starts chomping on necks, and it's like, that's not supposed to be a part of this game. We need to fix that. Find it, fix it, get rid of it. And now it's just a hocus pocus story because of a blip in the Matrix.
Okay. So more along the lines of not coming from a different simulation, but more along the lines of being like a mutative virus of some sort in the actual simulation itself.
Possibly.
Okay. Yeah, that actually sounds...
speculating here.
Oh yeah, of course. All this is speculation and theory. Yeah, no, I mean that sounds like a very interesting theory. I mean, if you think about like if we do have, or not us, but them, whoever they are, has the ability to make the simulation the way they want it to be. I mean, why wouldn't they be like, ooh, you know, it sounds like a really cool thing that happened. One like superhuman like person that's allergic to the sun but eats other people, you know, and they just like,
has a certain way to survive. We don't make those things have to dance.
right. I mean, you just get on your computer and you just type it all up and then hit enter, and then boom, now we got ourselves, you know, the legend itself. And maybe it did happen. Maybe vampires were a thing, or a vampire was a thing. And
yeah, Dracula, the main big dog.
Right. Dracula did.
We don't hear about any other ones. It's just him, the big head honcho that had the one thing, and then maybe he did turn a few people. Maybe when he chomped on people, the virus spread and people's character got corrupted, and the whole Mr. Smith thing, like copying himself. Let me stab you in the chest with my hand, and you're gonna become a copy of me.
Right. The white blood cell in the system turns into the corrupted one in the end, almost like a autoimmune deficiency. You know, it starts attacking itself, and instead of protecting what it's there for. Yeah, no, that would be kind of interesting if that is the case, because of the fact that it would how we perceive the supernatural entirely.
Right.
Right.
Another way of viewing ghost mechanics.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, we could go on and on and on and on about this.
I'm sure we could, and we may come back to this as we get to it. For our viewers, if you guys have any concepts or anything like that, please share some stuff in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts and theories are. I'm open to all kinds of different thought theories, or maybe some logistics, or it would make more sense if things worked out like this or like that, so be amazing, but
be creative.
Be creative. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So, and you give us a topic, we're gonna probably run with it and pick it apart and thoroughly harass it. So,
and also don't forget to go to the Ghost Mechanics video and watch that. I mean, we kind of touch upon this a little bit. I mean, not necessarily the simulation theory part, but well, maybe a little bit. Just
I mean,
brush up against it a little bit.
Together, just one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Different angles here.
Yeah, definitely go back and watch that video, and definitely give that one a like, and leave some comments there also, because we've been kind of hoping that you guys would come on in and give us the comments and help grow the channel with us and stuff to that effect. But I guess with that said, where we are. We're here on YouTube as you're watching us right now. We also do have a Facebook page, a fan page to be precise, which we want you to go to and strike up some conversations. You never know. You might see Mr. K or myself on there, and maybe putting up a couple of questions to ask y'all, maybe something for the future episodes.
Yeah, we definitely hold a lot of polls and stuff like that too, so we may put a question out to you guys, and it may air in one of our episodes. Yeah,
because you never know. You take a lot of information from people that we know, the people that watch the show. I mean, it's one of the things we very much appreciate you guys interacting with us. We love interacting with you guys, and we just want to try to make this show something that's enjoyable for us and also enjoyable for you guys. So I guess with that said, you want to go ahead and take us on out of here there, Mr. Gay?
All right. So as Mr. B was saying, feel free to beat a dead horse. If we've already talked about something, or you've seen a different episode, even leaving a comment on a new video of something old we did, or something we maybe mentioned and we haven't gotten back to it. If you're really interested in seeing us talk about certain topics, let us know. Anyways, I'm Mr. K, that's Mr. B, and don't forget to stay weird.
They didn't fall off the edge yet. A pity. Whether the world is a sphere or a giant cosmic frisbee, it's still got plenty of dark corners for me to hide in. So it's all the same to me. I'm heading back to the space under the stairs. I found a gap in the foundation that wasn't there this morning, and I want to see if it leads to the neighbor's basement or somewhere else. Plus, the acoustics in the subfloor are better for my late night pacing. As you try to sleep tonight, don't worry about the physics of the planet. Just worry about the physics of your room. If the hallway looks a little longer than it was when you turned out the lights, just stay in bed. It's a long way down if you miss a step. I've been Boogie, and this has been the Brothers of the Unknown. Sleep tight and try to stay in the center of your mattress. You never know where the here ends and the nothing begins.